What an insane week for comic books. DC dropped one of their most anticipated titles of the year so far, Batman 3 Jokers. Boom Studios released a Megaman comic, and Image released Bomb Queen, and she's running against Donald Trump for presidency. I don't know. But keep watching this video to hear all of my reviews, and stay tuned to the end of this video to hear my top choice of the week and which comic I think you should be investing in for the future. So stay tuned. Welcome back everyone, Eric Comics here, and yesterday was New Comic Book Day Wednesday. These books were fantastic and I cannot wait to review them for you. But before I get started on any of those reviews, if you're not already subbed up to that channel, hit that subscribe button down low and the little bell to get notified every time I drop new content. My new content days are every Sunday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. I've got unboxing, speculation videos, upcoming book releases, and you're watching it right now. New Comic Book Day reviews. So let's jump right into it. First up, we have Marvel. Now, I know I've been shitting on this book a lot, but it wasn't too bad. Amazing Spider-Man 47. 47 issues deep. And what can I say? It's not really getting too much better, but the Sin Eater arc has not been that bad, so let's talk about it. So this issue primarily focuses on Sin Eater. You see him start to take control of the city. He tries to convince people that they need to be cleansed of their sins, and he actually starts to gain a following. People agree the city's going downhill, and something needs to be done, and they believe Sin Eater is the one that's going to cleanse and fix the city. So you see him start to make like this little fan club. Everyone shows up with green masks, but obviously Spidey has to come and save the day because he can't just let people get their way like that. After the fight happens, which is primarily the rest of the issue, they flash back to Ravencroft, and you see Norman Osborn there, and a lot of the inmates that are in Ravencroft, they start to say, like, you know, he's coming for you next, Norman. So it's pretty cool. I'm excited for it. We'll see how it goes. So yeah, Sin Eater, kind of cool, not too bad. The story arc isn't too bad either, but one thing I really want to talk about, when you're flipping through this book and you see towards the end of it a nice little ad for ASM 850, big ol' 850, don't you just feel a little bit disrespected that we're about to be 50 issues deep of this series and it really hasn't accomplished a single thing? We finally have like the first good story arc, maybe half-ass second because that Kraven the Hunter one was okay. I don't know. They even had the balls to put Kindred on the front with all the other villains. Like, come on with this shit. I don't know. I don't know how much longer I can deal with it. I know something big's got to be happening soon, but we're going to have to see about that. Moving on. This is an issue I wasn't too sure about, but Spider-Man Noir number 3. I keep wanting to go back and forth. Like, it's like I pick it up and I'm like, I'm going to buy this issue, and I put it down, and before I leave I pick it up and I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to follow through. I'm going to see how the story goes. It's been okay, but let's jump right into it. So one thing that I love about this series so far is the artwork. I think it's absolutely gorgeous, and I think they've done a fantastic job with it. And with this issue, they brought in Electro as the main villain, and he just looks so badass, and his character was just so cool. But one main problem that I've had with this entire issue and run so far is that they kind of lose track with what's really going on. They have so many side stories and like little side plots that you lose focus on what's really, you know, the problem at hand, and it's the Cicada Stone. If they wouldn't have re-mentioned it this issue, I would have completely forgotten what was actually going on, and the whole purpose was to bring down Hitler and his regime and find the stone. Yeah, so story's been okay, nothing too special. The artwork I think is the only thing that's really like keeping me drawn in. And this issue, I mean, the cover's badass. Electro is sweet in this issue. But I don't know, the story itself, it really isn't doing it for me. But it's only going to 5 issues. I gotta finish it out, right? Of course. Last up, we have Daredevil Annual number 1 by Chip Zdarsky. This was such a fire-ass issue. I love Chip Zdarsky's main Daredevil run. It's been great. And this issue blew my mind with how it was written. So let's go. So this issue was nothing like I expected. This issue we follow Mike Murdock, Matt Murdock's alter ego, who was turned real by the reader years ago. It was an accidental thing, but basically left him as a shell or like a ghost of a person. He's got no backstory, he's got no history, but in the beginning of the issue, he uses a Norn stone that basically allows him to rewrite history. Now he has a backstory. He grew up with Matt Murdock, his father, basically lived the same life as him side by side, and now he basically believes that this history is real. So after that's all said and done, it was a fantastic issue, and it's going to tie into the main series perfectly. If you can recall from the last Daredevil issue, he got into a little bit of legal troubles, and he decided to turn himself in, but he's going to be using Matt Murdock as his lawyer. So now that he has a twin brother, it's all going to pan out perfectly for him. Looking forward to the next issue. It's going to be fantastic. Yo, I did not expect this issue to be like that. What a hell of like a tie-in annual. It was so cool, and this is going to mesh perfectly with how the story is being written right now. Chip Zdarsky, fantastic job. You fucking killed it. Alright, let's go. That was the last Marvel, and now we're on to Boom Studios, and you know which one it is. Megaman #1. What a fucking issue. Megaman is so cool. When I saw that Boom was releasing this, I had to pick it up. And, you know, it's straight nostalgia, and I can't wait to talk about it, so let's just do it. So this issue takes place roughly 6 months after some civil war between the robots and the humans. Dr. Light goes to try to make amends with some of the robots, Skullman being primarily the one he goes to talk to, and shit hits the fan pretty quick. Skullman tries to, kill Dr. Light. Megaman comes and saves the day. He fights all of his bad guys off. It was such a cool thing to see. The artwork was beautiful, and the story that went with it just paired perfectly. The cool thing about it was, though, Skullman really didn't try to attack Megaman, but instead he attacked his mind. He either put memories that he was trying to show Megaman that they were either fake or it's in the future or something. We don't exactly know yet, but whatever happened, Megaman woke up and he was just as equally as confused, and Dr. Light, his father, wouldn't exactly explain anything to him too. He just said, don't let Skullman get into your mind like that. So we got to see some characters from the past. It was awesome. And after all that story ended, we got to see Proto Man, and Dr. Wily got involved as well. I'm looking forward to this next issue. I think it's going to be fantastic. Come on, it's Mega Man. How can you not love this issue? The artwork was fantastic. That cover's fucking sweet. I had to get it. It's awesome. Like I was saying before, I think it's just straight nostalgia. But, it hits home in the childhood. I loved it. I hope you guys did too. Next up, we are moving on to Image. Our first issue today that I will not be fully reviewing is That Texas Blood #3. So I bought it, I read it, it made 0 sense to me, and it turned out I didn't even read issue 2. I bought 1 and 2, read 1, thought it was great, reviewed it. I don't know what happened with 2. I completely forgot about it. I've got a massive pile of books that I just have to read, and like I said, I read through the whole thing, and so I'm just going to give like a little brief description of how the story's been going. It takes place in a small-time police officer. He's getting a little bit older. He's got like some mysterious past. Something's happened. You don't really find out what it is. But the cool thing is that they keep introducing these new characters, and these characters kind of have like a mysterious past as well. And they just keep showing little like tidbits, and other characters mention things about the past, and they just kind of give them that face like come on, like, you really going to talk about that, or that really happened, or that person's this. So you don't really know anything that's going on as far as like some backstory on the characters. You're just kind of going like with the motions with them. Like if they go somewhere, it's like, well, fuck it, we're going with them. But you don't really know like anything that's actually happening. I like it so far. Maybe if I read 2, it would make a lot more sense. That'll be for next time. But overall, I would suggest reading it. First issue was great. I'm sure the second one was too. Next up, we have Family Tree #8. Jeff Lemire. What a fucking issue, man. I love it. I love Family Tree 8. I love like everything Jeff Lemire is putting out right now. It has all been fantastic. So let's just jump right into it. So in this issue, it's basically the exact opposite of what happened last time. If you can recall, Meg finally rooted herself into the ground, and you didn't really get to see the mom and brother's perspective as to what was happening. It mainly followed the grandfather, and this issue picks up right there. The grandfather, sadly, doesn't look like he made it. The bad guys kind of won, but the primary focus shifted to the mom and the brother, because he pretty much did what he was supposed to do. He held them off for as long as he could to see what Meg was going to do, and it finally happened. That's when all the crazy shit happened. She was rooted into the ground, the bad guys re-showed up, and she released like some spore or a poison or something. Whatever it was, it started turning all the surrounding people into trees. The artwork was crazy. I'm not really sure what's going on in this story anymore. Is it actually the end of the world, or is she going to save the world? I'm not too sure, but I'm really looking forward to the next issue. At this point, if you're not reading Jeff Lemire's work, I think you're making a mistake. My other massive favorite title right now is Gideon Falls. That story is just bomb. I love every bit of it. It's fantastic. It's coming to an end in December, which sucks, but I don't know. Jeff Lemire, another fantastic issue. I love Family Tree. From Image, we have Bliss number 2. I love this issue. I did not initially pick up Bliss number 1 on New Comic Book Day when it first came out. I picked it up 2 weeks later when I had a light pull day, and I saw it was just sitting there, and I was like, you know what? Today's the day I fucking get it. So I got it. Blew my mind. Bliss number 2 equally blew my mind, so let's go. So this was another very fun issue to read. It pretty much was just a more in-depth version of issue number 1, because you saw the trial, and then you got to see how the son was kind of well, my dad was a good guy despite killing a shit ton of people. Basically did it for the family, so, he had his reasons. This one basically just showed the perspective of the dad a lot more. Followed him around, and pretty much just got to see what he actually had to do, and you saw the effect of the Bliss drug. But you really did get to see him just still try to be a good father and a good family man. He had his purpose and he had his reasons for doing everything, but the Bliss drug basically is what caused everything. He forgot what he was doing, and then he got caught up making money and providing for his family, and that was the main issue. And the shift basically just focused right back to the trial, and it was a very fun read. Looking forward to the next one. You should be reading Bliss. Man, Bliss, it really is such a great story. It's really blowing my mind with how Image is just they're putting out all these stories right now, and they're all so good. If you're not reading Bliss, I think you're making a mistake. It's very under the radar for a lot of people, but if you love indies, you love Image, this is a no-brainer for you. Next up, our last indie title from Image, we have Bomb Queen Trump Card Part 1. It was great. I had no idea what to expect from Bomb Queen. I know it was an older series. I think they've got 5 volumes of it, but I've never read it. I had no idea what was going to happen, so let's just go. So I'm not going to go too far in depth of the series because it was actually a lot more graphic than I was imagining it to be, so I'm just going to give a brief overview. Bomb Queen is back. She's running for president against Donald Trump so that he pretty much can't, if he wins the party this 2024 election, he can pretty much just change the rules so that he can be president for the rest of his life if he wants to. So she's going to be running against him. She's kind of got this super badass attitude and doesn't take shit from anybody. Kind of like him, it seems. But the cool part about this series is that you see a whole lot of people that they just give their opinions, and it's kind of opinions on the presidency that you would see in real life. They talk about Biden, they talk about coronavirus, they hit on a lot of current topics. So it was an awesome read. I would definitely check it out if your LCS still has it. In my opinion, I feel like this was such a fantastic issue. They hit on so many modern day points. The artwork was so creative and unique. I love how they just showed Donald Trump as who he really is. They even brought in coronavirus. Very modern, very cool. I'll be picking up the rest of these. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a 5-issue series. I'm looking forward to the rest of it. Now, final title. You know what this is. You've all been buying it. You all have all the variant covers. I don't. I left it up to my shop to surprise me. There it is. DC, Batman, 3 Jokers. Another thing, I know I repeat this every single video. I'm not a big DC guy. So at this point, you're probably mouthing it with me like, "He's not a big DC guy." Like, you just know it's coming. I didn't really know what was going to happen. I loved it. I can't wait to talk about it. Let's do it. So here it is. Batman 3 Jokers. The issue started off with giving us a nice recap of all the shit that Batman's had to go through over the years, and they had to give us another reminder that his parents died in that alleyway that dreadful, dreadful night. But soon after that, you realize that the story's going to turn into a nice mystery series. You get to see Commissioner Gordon, Batgirl, Jason Todd, also known as Red Hood, all make nice appearances, and from there, shit pops off really quickly. Joker, turns out he's killed people in 3 different areas, and everyone in every area is like, hey, this is definitely the Joker. I don't know what's going on over there, but we have the real one over here. And everyone just seems a little bit confused because it seems like Joker's actual work. You soon realize that there actually might be 3 Jokers and that they've been carefully planning this all throughout the years. It was a very good story so far. I really like the mystery aspect to it, and I'm really looking forward to see how they play this out. I thought this was such a fun read. This one was so good. I don't know. I talked to a couple other people. They thought, like, for the hype that it had, it was slightly a letdown. But I don't know. I've got a super simple DC mind right now. I don't know a whole lot of info. I'm just kind of reading the pages like, oh, shit, that's cool. That's cool, too. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. And A+ from DC. So everyone that's been commenting and like hitting me up on Instagram too. Speaking of, if you're not following me, all it is AR_comics. It's the same name that you should already be subscribed to. So thank you for hitting me up and letting me know I need to be reading more DC. I'm going to start looking for a few more titles, and it's going to be a great time. So now the point that you've all been waiting for, my top choice of the week. I'm sure you all were thinking it's this issue. It's not. Although it was up there, it was hard to, kind of not pick it, but I had to do it. I had to pick this issue. We're going to swap this, and we're just going to show it off. Megaman Fully Charged, #1. I loved it. It was straight nostalgia. I grew up playing the games. I loved it. Loved the characters. Loved the artwork. I cannot wait for the rest of this story. I hope you liked it just as much as I did, because I've been telling everybody all day. I was texting. I was like, yo, you read fucking Mega Man? It's fucking Mega Man. It's so cool. I digged it. It was great. But now, for investment purposes that I know the rest of you have been waiting for, because some of you probably don't give a shit about Mega Man like I do. So, for investment purposes, this is the one you're looking for. Batman 3 Jokers. There's got a whole bunch of different covers. I think there's like 6 or 7 different covers. That 1 in 100, I think, is the most badass. But realistically, even that 1 in 25, like the blacklight variant, that's fucking sweet too. I think there's like 5 other ones that are floating around that a lot of people were still getting. I would go for the blacklight one personally. I think that's sweet. But I do think, assuming DC follows through and this book really pans out to be great like everyone's expecting it to be, this is something that you should have in your PC. It's a great read so far, and I can only imagine it's going to get better. And with that, now it's your turn. Let me know down low in the comments section what you thought about all my pickups this week. My top choice of the week obviously is the best one, and my top investment choice. Which ones do you think were the best this week? You think this is a smart investment? Let me know. And with that, have a good night.